to bother further?
Hmm.
Or is it just too much red tape?
Somebody's trying to block their progress.
Because one version of this was done in 2022, right?
Right.
So there is a reason why it's published so late. Perhaps they were gathering evidence, but now this is brought out into open. What is the Egypt government's official response? If we could read that, then we could know what could be the next steps.
Probably somebody panicking, like, oh, we need to cover this up, this is an urgent
Yeah.
matter.
Let's cover it under sand.
More sand. All right,
More
ladies
sand.
and gentlemen, we are back again with a new episode of Strange World. Today is episode 8.
Are we recording already?
Yeah. Wow. Okay, you know what? 8 or 9, we'll figure this out later. Just look at the YouTube title when it finally comes out.
Okay, so this is a throwback to episode that we talked about 3 weeks ago. And this one is about the pyramids of Giza and the things hidden beneath the sand. And what are the authorities hiding from us, if at all? Or perhaps everything that we know about this world is just an illusion. This is Strange World. We'll be right back. I really don't feel good.
You're getting a
Is anyone here? What did you find?
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions. That's right, and you're listening to Supernatural Confessions with us. This is Strange World, out every Wednesday. My name is Eugene Tay, along with my co-host, Dr. Yong in the middle, and Mary Mike at the extreme right corner. Each week, the three of us sit down and we do enjoy discussing all these various topics that don't quite fall directly into the realm of the paranormal. Also, don't quite fall into the realm of science or the hardcore science as we know it, but it's somewhere in between where
Orphan child.
where I believe that there's a shadow government trying to prevent and squash all these topics of being talked about. And of course we have Dr. Yong, who's the man of science, but he's also a very enlightened, holistic human being, wink wink, who believes very much in the esoteric as well as the science as we know it. And Mary Mike is a Christian by faith, but at the same time he's also very curious and is asking a lot of questions that perhaps he feels may be offensive to some people. But I just think that Mike is overthinking things.
You know what's overthinking or not?
What?
Last week, I just something very funny.
Okay.
Last week we went to Waterloo, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
So, okay lah. I cannot give spoilers lah. But we went to Waterloo. We for some reason went to Kipo, curious, go and sit with this master, So he gave us 40 numbers, right?
Yeah.
Alright.
Correct.
So you went to buy, I went to buy. I don't care lah. We don't say whether we win or not lah.
I will tell you, I did win.
Okay, so what happened was I went back home.
Ah.
I go to AI,
Ah.
and then I just go and dig more lah. I dig more. So I dig. Then after that, the conversation went into AI telling me that according to my 八字, that the particular day that the 40 will come up, correct? Is also one of like my most like apparently what I got what 212, don't know what lah. I mean, how do you like to describe lah? Okay. So basically the main headline was that Heaven Gate is open for me. So on that same morning when the 40 was supposed to announce, I go and try again lah. So I go and buy. I just buy in the morning. That's the only one that won.
Well,
but not big lah.
That's
It's like
interesting.
I just play. I just put like $5, but I did not get first prize. I only got starter, but it's still something because it's quite funny, right? Like early morning, so it's very funny because AI tell me say, okay, when you buy, you must wear this color, and then you must go and face east. So handphone very powerful, right? Got compass so okay, so face east lah. Yeah, bye. Then that's the only one that won.
So Now we
So to get the full picture, you face east and then you bought the number on your handphone. Correct.
Yeah, it's this.
Oh.
Is yeah. So like I think okay. So okay, I'm not saying that this master is lousy or what lah. No, I think this master knows what he's doing because when I asked to verify, remember the master said that that you and I we our luck this round not very good, right?
yeah, yeah.
That we cannot, that if we buy Toto we confirm lose one.
Ah, ah.
Yeah, because like so that was the one that made me go and research. I was like, I don't like this. Why is it that I cannot buy Toto this year? You know, that kind of thing. So I go and check. So okay, so the app tell me that okay, this year and this cycle you cannot buy because your like a lot of elements lah, you know, not to your favor. But you can do small winnings. So you cannot have windfall, but you can do small winnings. Like your supposed income flow is supposed to be gradual and steady, not like one shot boom and then suddenly you're a millionaire.
Oh.
Yeah. Then so I was like, okay lah. Since AI like that, master also say like that, I guess it must be correct lah, right? Because we have to verify everything that we learn. So that is how it led to okay lah. So that wow, really tio.
Not bad, man. Not bad. Okay. Now the like what I know science would say, you need to be able to replicate this.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the
Outcome,
thing.
yeah.
But but I realize there's more than that. You know, like okay. So maybe it's a Chinese thing, maybe it's an Asian thing. We must optimize everything. Right? Every help is the help, right?
Yeah.
Right. So the advice from AI was that you need, like I said, like, wear t-shirt, wear the correct color, do this, then must face east and then buy. Correct. So it seems like even if the master gives you the numbers, right? The mode of buying, the day of buying also actually also all piled together. So it's not like you're guessing the number. To me, it seems like, or rather, what I observe is that it's like every action that you do is connected to the quantum mechanics and the quantum physics that we don't understand to invoke the outcome. That is how I would see it.
I find it very interesting because if we go behind the scenes and how they come up with the numbers, right? They have this machine, they have this ball rolling machine.
Hey, what happened to him?
You know,
They're trying
computer program, and then they are being audited. Oh, I think my connection.
They're trying to shut him up.
I got silence. Anyhow, anyhow, it's like what might you say, right? That whatever you do on this side, could it have affected the drawing of the balls on the other side by a mechanism that we don't fully understand? And also this direction facing. I've been using Chiman for about the past 6 months or so, and I say that it does make a difference for what I do. And Chiman is a lot with finding out who's your garden deity of your destiny palace, and then there's a priming phase where you connect with your garden deity, which is basically a universal or astrological energy, and then you can tap into it when you want to say find answers, you want to find the right people. So this direction thing, there's something with this, and feng shui, we all know direction is super important.
So it's okay. Before we go on, I know people right now going, but hey, this Michael, I thought he Christian. I thought Christian can believe in this kind of thing, man. So I went to also go and find out whether he really can or not.
I told you he's overthinking things, but go ahead.
No, but this is interesting also.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I think earlier, in the earlier episodes, I mentioned that Abraham was known to be an astrologist, right? Now, he's not the only one that practices it. Apparently, even during the time of Jacob's descendants, there is a group of people called the sons of Issachar. And if you look through the Bible, the sons of Issachar are people, rather, they are a family line that apparently can read seasons, and they can read into the spiritual realm, and they can read into the political realm, which is very, very familiar, right? All right, because Bazi also uses the same thing as well. So I cannot say that whether it's safe or cannot use, but I can probably be confident enough to say that Bazi can be used as a map, and this map you can navigate it, according to catch the seasons, or you can decide not to do anything lah. Like for example, the 40 or so, I feel very stupid. I never go and put more money.
But would putting more money because you don't have the luck for big windfall affect the flow then?
Correct. So
Good
that
question,
is
Vijay.
that will always be the mystery. That I think that um spices up life lah. You know, if I did this, did I do that? If I didn't do this, did I do that? So at the end of the day, is that everything that you have, whatever you get, any win that you get, must celebrate, lor.
So speaking of 4D, I know we're a bit off topic today, because we're talking about Egypt and everything. But since we are talking about what happens to us, I think this could actually be interesting topic to bring up. I actually was given an item and was told that this is a very powerful item, and the person who had it for many years was having consistent major windfall.
Wow.
Right, and the person was already living lah, and she said that I would like someone to continue taking care of this item. So I said okay, I'll be very glad to. Someone's
But-
pounding away on the keyboard. Who's that? Mike, is it?
No,
That would be me.
Or okay. So was given this artifact and told there was good. I mean, the person had a lot of huge windfall. So I brought it back, and the time was around New Year's Day. So there was a Toto, right? I was trying to play Toto, and it's like, okay, Toto 8 million, 10 million. Then I asked for a number lah, and true enough, it gave me the exact number of what Toto number would be. No more, no less. I'm using the pendulum method, so we went from 1 to 49, and I double check and triple check, and it says yes, confirm this number will come out. And I had a spiritual master there with me in the room as well. So I just was like freaking ironclad, right? Amazing artifact given to me by someone who had consistent windfall over 30 years, with another master in the place with me to verify that what we are searching and confirming the numbers are true. And then turns out the numbers didn't come out at all. Not even 3 numbers, didn't even touch constellation.
Sorry, this is background
I
noise.
need to mute Dr. Yong. The noise is okay. And so I come back to the thing again and ask, hey, what happened? I asked the master, how can I never hit? Not even constellation. And the master said, oh, do you know that if you go down to the 4D shops and the actual 4D place where they do the number taking, there is like a gazillion and one entities fighting for winnings, because everyone's sending in wishes and everyone's using magic to try to get windfall on their side, right? So you can imagine the entire 4D place where they're actually rolling the ball and counting the number. Inside on the ground is as crowded as how you would see a very traditional stock market exchange. Everyone's like, all the spirits are shouting for their for their numbers to come out. Yeah. So you say, what are the odds? I was like, okay lah. If everyone's wishing as hard, then my wish also don't stand a chance lah.
Hey, but actually, when you use things like that, right?
Yeah.
Got a drawback or not?
No lah. I mean, I'm not playing black magic going to the cemetery. I'm making a wish from an object that is really proven to have track record, right? So it's like now it's bestowed to me. I'm like, okay lah, let's.
Yeah lah.
I'm your new master now. Serve me.
Hey, does that mean those people that use black magic to win, wow, they really give a lot, because you're telling me now that there's this level of fighting in the spiritual realm just for the winning, right? Means if a person use black magic to supersede that, wow, that must be a lot to give.
So according to a Taoist master I met in KL, so he explained this as well, and I asked him, I said, what are the common things that people will come and find you for? 2 things. Love and money. Actually money before love. Wealth is like the number 1 thing people will usually ask him for. And I asked him, I said, if it always works, then wouldn't the world just be everyone just wishing for money? Then the financial market collapse, because all anyone has to do is just wish for money or come to a master and ask for wealth. Then how does that sustain the economic model, right? I'm very logical here at this point in time. He says, because money is finite. And you can ask for wealth today. Where does that wealth come from? The wealth takes from a pool of money from your future self. So, like say, if I'm supposed to be a millionaire by, say, 35, but I wish to have $1 million by 25. Yeah. So maybe the deities or whatever give you the $1 million by 25, but that's it. You may be broke later on in life.
or you may like just squander everything lah and reset
Yes.
back to what your actual timeline is.
Correct. Correct.
This is interesting.
I think this counters the concept of abundance is a concept where everything is in the ether, and everything we can imagine, what you can hold in your head, you can hold in your hands, and then it's just our inability to this is the theory of abundance, right? Our inability to prime one is our intention, our thoughts, and then our faith or belief in the possibility of this is the thing that prevents us from making it materializing. Um, I just feel that this is another way, right? That we have this amount of set wealth and this amount of life. You can bring it forward, but what that means is that, and after that, you will be you'll be a beggar for the rest of the time. Very
Mm.
interesting.
Interesting, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I tell you, actually, there's so much more that I learned over the weekend, over the week. Actually, I was sending Eugene a lot of stuff. But we will not talk about that because I think that one
New topic,
definitely.
is it?
Yeah, we definitely can go into it. I think there's a lot. Like even for me also, right? I
Yeah.
went to ask all so many things until I was so scared already. There's some things I shouldn't know. Now I know. It's like, ayo, tell lah, I know already. I cannot. I
If
have to go
one
and look
day,
Nice.
up already.
if one day Mike just disappears from Singapore, like we cannot find him anymore. We know he's
Yeah
been
lah.
taken by the people in white.
Yeah, think about it, I also to know one lah. No, but it's very interesting. At the end of the day, right? That I don't know where parcel came from. I cannot say that the Chinese came out with it or whatsoever because I did not go into the history lah. I went into the study of what can benefit lah, obviously. But what I like is that there is a certain level of okay, I can't say it's logic lah, okay, but there's definitely a certain level of study and there's a certain level of observance that if you notice even with the Egyptians and the pyramids and the way they structure their layout and all that, it's actually very intentional and there is a purpose behind it. That is what I see as fascinating. So, like, if we go back to the pyramids, we were hoping, in 2 to 3 weeks after we discussed that there'll be more stuff coming up. But apparently, no one is allowed to go inside and dig or bring out the structures. So I guess the only thing that we can say is that the structures seem to have sacred ratios, correct? They've got pi alignments, and everything is built purposefully in that particular sense. And we notice that around the world, especially in the ancient world, we have temples like Borobudur, we got Angkor Wat, who also do the same thing as well. Like who in the world figured like we should build it in this way or we should build it in that way or there is certain alignment. It's very interesting to see that these things also have a lot of mathematical parallels to star systems and mathematical constants, and mythologies that seem to indicate that they could be gates, or they could be something. We don't know what it is, to speak either to the other side or speak to up above. But the funny thing is that if you are trying to speak to up above, why were they digging so deep down in the ground?
A tree can only grow as high and as strong as deep as its roots.
Yeah, but so it's very interesting. I think I chanced upon a video. I think over the weekend or so about this. Apparently, there's this genius boy who's out to to challenge Stephen Hawking on the existence of God. This boy is very smart. I was not so interested about whether or not he wants to argue with Stephen Hawking, but I wanted to hear what his his theory was. So basically, he said that if nothing created the universe, the Earth should not have an age. If the Earth and the universe is 13.8 billion years old, correct, then it must come from somewhere. Which is like when gravity happens, it just happens. It doesn't have to be created or it's just there. So that was his base argument. Boy is a genius lah. So I don't know how he's going to do that, but it's very interesting to know that why no one is thinking, oh yeah, if they say there is an age to the Earth, then and there's an age to the universe, then where does the age begin from? Because scientists say that nothing can be created by nothing. That was the logic lah. So that's one thing. Sorry?
Oh no, I'm just wondering that because when they use James Webb and then they use the other, the telescopes, right? They find that the age of the universe is actually expanding away rather than contracting. And then, but about the age, right? Who can visualize the age? So I'm just trying to think, where is this boy, this genius pointing? What is his angle of thought, and where is he going in?
With regards to the age of the universe, I was following this guy on IG. It's very interesting for I can't remember his name offhand. He's very long hair, and he cuts his video interviewing himself, like having a dialogue with himself. Very interesting, very very charming guy. He doesn't look like a scientist, and is very on point. So it's very succinct video that he puts out. So he was talking about how do scientists know the age of the universe. So they were looking at light. Light is a way to tell time. So based on how long the light travel, they can sort of pinpoint where the origin of the light was. And so how long they travel will also be the light wave. So if the light wave is this way, it means it's a very short distance. If it's the wave is like there, almost stretched out to a straight line, it means it has traveled very, 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 very far. So they sort of kind of put all these beams of light with that similar wavelength, indicating that it has traveled very, very far away, and they found that it point to a very similar source. Like there was a oneness where the light started coming out from, and then as the universe expands, there were more and more lights and stars that were made. So that's kind of how they trace back the time and the source of where the light exploded. The first Big Bang, if you may.
Brings back to secondary school. V equals to F lambda. F being lambda being the interval within the waves. Let's
forget already.
All I hear was F my lampa. That's all I heard.
No, this is why. This is the stuff all too boring for us. That's why we go into this
travel to the edge of the universe.
Yeah.
This guy who traveled to the edge of the universe and then peed at the edge of the universe. And then realized that it is 5 pillars. I don't know whether you all know about this.
No, what's that? What boy pee at the edge of the universe?
Yeah, this is Sun Wukong. Yeah.
Wow.
Goku. So the story that he to challenge, I think the gods, he went to this, proving that he can fly faster, go further than anyone else. He reached the edge of the universe, and to make his mark there, right, I'm here. Instead of putting a flag, he peed there. And then when he looked up, he realized that okay, this thing is actually the fingers of Buddha. And then so far he traveled so far on his cloud, everything, he never left the palm. So anyway, this is legend. Just
Nice.
just for fun.
Oh yeah. I remember that scene.
Yes.
But maybe what Sun Wukong experienced was a simulated Buddha palm environment. Was there really a universe?
And he was trapped under the
mountain,
the sun, right?
Yeah.
The finger mountain, right? Maybe it was just his own mental construct, and then he got trapped within his own mind.
His own limitations.
Yes.
Wow. All right, Mike, what do you have for us today, man?
Oh, has stand already. Okay, so I want to discuss. Do you think those ancient sites where Giza, the Angkor, Borobudur, even the Stonehenge, do you think they're intentionally linked, through a shared code or logic system? Do you think all these things they will build, was it common knowledge, or do you think that the humans, regardless of where they were at that time, they just happen to know on their own? And beyond
I
that.
have 2 thoughts on this. First one is that there's this idea, Chinese, we have feng shui. The Western one, they use ley lines. They feel like Stonehenge and all the other megaliths or monoliths, they are built on these ley lines so that they tap into certain earth energies. That's one. The other one is orientation to the stars. But the other point of view is that, like what happened last week was, I went for Qingming. So Chinese All Souls Day, tomb sweeping. And then, when you go to the cemetery, you find that all the tombstones are oriented in one direction, right? Because and usually it's on the mountain side because Feng and Sui, they want a mountain and water. So there's this prevailing understanding or knowledge that the tombstones is, if faced in this direction, it will bring prosperity to the future generations. And perhaps those other structures, they had this thing, but because of some of them lack inscriptions that tell us why is it built that way. For example, the pyramids. Perhaps there is this common knowledge at the time when it was built, but then lost in translation. And talking about what we did past weekend, right? I don't know. I know. Again, a little bit background about us. I am actually Louis Chiu. My ancestry is Louis Chiu, Lei Zhou, which is very very rare. I probably can't find it in Singapore. I know Eugene is Baba Nyonya, but what about you, Mike? What's your?
Wow, me I okay lah. I'm from Penang, so Hokkien boy, I guess. Hokkien, half Canto. I don't think about it because of my family. They don't dig into all these things one lah. So to them, they're like the Chinese family go English school, come out all westernized, that kind of pattern. So yeah, they don't really follow that.
I bring this up because right, I was visiting my grandma's tombstone, and then on that it was inscripted, in turn in 1975, and then the older tombstones, right, they actually state down where did these people come from, but the newer tombstones, right, it becomes very succinct, I not enough space or save money or whatever, very 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 succinct, just date of born, that of that. But the older ones, right, it actually says my grandma hailed from, and I first wondered like where's my roots. She actually hailed from the district of Guangdong, and then province of Guangdong, Zhuxi district and Diaoluo village. And then and one day I find it will be a very interesting loop to actually go travel there and then trace my roots, and then also connect with ancestral knowledge. What did they know, what did they learn, what did they see the world from, to be able to draw a line to connect the dots. And I think all these megalithic structures, right, they have knowledge, astronomy, astrology, and how the thing is, how can we tap into those knowledge? We would learn so much.
Okay, so I'm going to go and check because I know Malaysia, Penang has this cool kongsi. So apparently my forefathers, they came from Xin'an village in Fujian province.
Interesting. Eugene, what about your genealogy? Do you know anything?
No idea. I always tell people that I was born from royalty because I mean the joke is that the Pranakans come down, or how Pranakans are sort of created is the Straits born. They are Straits born Chinese, so the Chinese traders would come down along the Straits, then they would settle down and they would marry, or at least have sex with the local right. Malay women. And most of these traders are either wealthy Chinese men, or you believe the origin where Zhang He came down, right, sailed, then with all his men, his generals, they sort of settled down in Malacca and then they populate the place. But I also found out when we trace back the Peranakan roots, actually the main Peranakan enclave is not Malacca, it's in Penang. From there it trickles down. So a lot of my own Peranakan history is actually lost in translation, because if you ask any Peranakan, they'll tell you they are the original. like everybody's grandmother makes the best bacang. It's one of those kind of story. And if you look at the early Peranakan, they are big houses, they are traders, they are educated. So that's what I tell people lah. I'm royalty. But the truth is, my grandfather on my father's side used to be a trishaw rider from China. He came out of Singapore. He rides a trishaw. My paternal grandmother is Peranakan. She's a Nonya, but I think she's the mache. She's the cleaner. She's the maid. She's not the nyang. She's the cleaner. My mother's side also full Peranakan. So grandfather, grandmother, both Peranakan. But because they died at a very young age, I really have no recollection or roots to them. And I asked my mother. My mother's like, I don't know. They just said the kampong. So that's it. So although I'm surname Teh, and you have Teh Kong Guan, all the different Tehs that are, up there, maybe not sure where the wealth is lah.
Yeah lah, same lah. I also cool, but then no relation to cool take part. No, even Eric Koo also don't have. Cool family is
least you all got surnames, you know. You all got surnames.
Yeah,
Mine is Guan Yu and they're not related to Lee at all.
Oh, hey, but Yong also got quite powerful, right?
Yong
family.
Tao Fu. No,
I know no, I know a Yong family who's very well to do. Stays at Holland there.
Yeah, safe to say we are the three outliers lah.
They didn't make it into the main family lah. Had to go and figure out ourselves lah. Ayo, see lah.
Okay.
Probably it came from the line of Zheng He, who is a eunuch. Never mind.
I know. Yeah. Apparently, he's not a real eunuch. He pretended to be a eunuch, right? Zheng He?
Oh,
There was a story. No,
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Shit. Don't know my history.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but
coming
yeah.
back
Sorry, back.
to
Yeah.
The Egypt thing, right? We once understood that it was a cradle of civilization. But do you think because let's say we assume every other civilization, right, has sort of like taken inspiration from the pyramids and they taken inspiration for how the Egyptians, Egypting, correct?
Yeah.
Do you think they were a rendered blueprint?
I think so because to research on this particular topic this week, I started asking around and looking around to people who have actually traveled down to these grounds. Of course, on the spiritual master side, because I mean you can only find so much on Wikipedia, but sometimes if you ask the right people, you may triangulate a certain level of wisdom from these people that are not found online. And that's what I bring to the show on Strange World. So, first of all, when I started looking at the pyramids, I found out that more and more the argument for it being a tomb is less likely. I think right now I'm actually quite convinced the pyramid is actually the blueprint for a power station. The cliff notes of it is the limestone that they put outside the pyramid back then was shiny and white. It was taken 500 miles away. And you believe modern science is actually slaves dragging the stones on logs, or even if you use magic or use some form of paranormal power, supernatural power, to bring rocks, limestone from 500 miles away, it's a feat. And also inside the pyramid itself, the structure, it's very odd. If you look at the tombs, and Kuan Yu has been to Egypt to see some of the tombs have a certain design, but the tombs inside, or the hollow spaces inside the pyramid, is not designed as tombs, and it's oddly shaped, oddly crafted, oddly angled, and the material of the pyramid was actually again taken from miles elsewhere to put inside, because there's a high level of quartz, high percentage of quartz within the rock surface. So we look at the limestone, its material composite and the quartz composite, and the spaces in between the pyramid, is almost as if when a certain amount of pressure is exerted onto this pyramid structure, the quartz emits energy. And back then, in the time where they built the pyramids, there was an underground river. Again, that creates some form of electromagnetic field. So now with the latest discovery of those pylons underneath the earth, I can almost imagine this to be like the battery, and this is what's going to create the energy, the electricity, and pump it below the pylons into that underground city, giving it constant infinite electricity to use, like an underground well. Wow. So this could then be the blueprint that is used in other parts. So if we put the Western idea of ley lines into play, these battery packs could be placed upon the ley lines, because I can't remember the details right now, but if you count like places like Borobudur, the Mayans, the Egypt, where you draw, that you connect them, they actually form a certain pattern.
Hey, actually, the other structures use also quartz. Suddenly they come to think about it. Okay, I tell you why I asked this question. Because also as you were explaining, I went to go and look up. Okay, so quartz, right? It's used for time. It's used to tell the time precisely. But the reason why it does that, because it vibrates at a frequency of 32768 hertz, 32,768 hertz. Okay, now 32768 in numerology, right, is 2 to the power of 15. And this is very important because 2 has always been associated with the binary structure of reality. Correct. Anything that's do with creation, anything that do with fractal resonance, you all can go and Google that, right? It always been associated with number 2. Okay. So in mystical systems, especially Kabbalistic and Pythagorean practice from secondary school, the W of numbers always represents progression, unfolding, and expansion from the void. So the void you can go and you can go and use your imagination lah, to think what the void means. So the number 15, all right, is also significant in the sense that in tarot cards, number 15 is the devil, symbolizing enslavement to matter. A hint that this frequency may bind consciousness to the temporal dimension. 15 is also 3 by 5, 3 times 5, triad and pentad, which means harmony and man. Now, in Batsi and metaphysics, 15 also marks a full moon cycle for completion. So those are the numbers lah. If anybody who's listening to this want to go and dig please do, and then tell me also, so I don't have to do the work all myself. But the work is fine. Trust me, the work is fine. All right. Okay. So in relation to the pyramids and what I just explained, right? Correct. Ancient pyramids like the Great Pyramid of Giza, they were theorized to also be astronomical and temporal markers. Right. So we think of them like as though because they were made from quartz and it has to do with modern clocks and it has to do with all those numbers, correct? They observed and understood that it might be timekeepers of the gods. That's one theory because of their vibrational structures. Remember, the pyramids could have been built by just normal stone. Why specifically quartz? And why is it now underground, deep below? We've got all of this as well. All right. Now, next one will be the harmonic resonance with Earth, correct? Which I think we talked about previously. So it's back here again. The Schumann frequencies is back here again. With the quartz. And okay, I'm not going to go through down too much because there's a lot there. If anyone wants to go and read up,
Can you pass us the link there? I can put it up, or you
no,
copy and copy
it's
and paste. Then copy and
I'll copy and
paste.
paste.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I think this one I need to start writing blog already.
Yeah, you know what? I think we need to have a Strange World blog on the website because there's a lot of content that I think even I myself would love to go back and click and read stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay. Y'all can put a vote lah. Everyone in the comments is like, yes, please, Michael, start writing.
Yes, please, Michael, start writing.
No choice. Dude, we're going to do it. Okay.
yes, writing, right, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. So, okay, coming back is what I'm trying to get at is that while most of us like to think that to reach to the gods we look up to the stars, correct? But what if, right, the real story is that we are actually supposed to be looking into the fabric of space-time and code, like perhaps communication with other side, whether you believe in a god or not, or whether you believe another realm exists. Actually, the earth itself and everything around us that we already are the tools that help us to reach across to the other side, which is why there are some people who have third eye, there are some people who do not, or there are some people third eye closed. It could be all of this all connected together, right? But because in these things, right, these temples, the tunnels, they're not just spiritual sites. What if they are interfaces? All these things are built with all their, the way it's built, all these mathematical calculations and all of these things, right? What if, okay, these are interfaces? And so now I want to present the main topic, which we took quite a long journey to, but I think it's something that we needed to build up. Okay, so now, what in reality itself, right, is a rendered illusion. Let's say, for example, we begin with Egypt being the cradle of civilization, the beginning of civilization. Everyone took what they knew, what they understood, and they started building their own little interfaces, right? What if, okay, all of this came from Egypt as the example, and then for some strange reason, it was passed down by intention, you know, and that reality itself, because of these interfaces, right? Right, because of these interfaces, reality itself is actually an illusion and a simulation that is governed by sacred geometry as the source code.
Hmm. Um, I got something that I can't wait to interject. Sorry, yeah.
Okay.
Um, so back from what Eugene mentioned back early on, about the pyramids, they are not tombs. I think the earlier one is the Great Pyramid, right? Subsequently, there are pharaohs who look after that and say that, oh, I want to build one for myself, modeled after the pyramid. So the subsequent ones, there are those that are being used as
Yeah.
tombs. So there are those, and the quartz, being we have quartz in our watches, our old analog watches, because it transmits frequency very well. We all know that. And then those within the pyramids, all the chambers, they are also built with sacred geometry, with the five numbers. If you follow Robert Edward Grant, he'll talk a lot about that and how it either harnesses sound or how it creates a resonance within a chamber. A lot of resonance chamber they use for sound healing, and why that is being built. One like there's only one little part of the understanding, right? And going back to the why are the structures built, and then connecting to what Michael asked, this one, right? Okay, let me how to put it in a line. There's this one of my people, he is in a way like clairvoyant, and then he's very interesting what he sees when he goes into deep meditation. And one of those images, right, was when he wanted to go within how to say go within himself using a tree. And when he goes down, right, he saw the pyramids, mosque, and temples, all of them beaming light up, all of these structures beaming light up into this tree root. So the question I am asking here is that this edifices of prayer, whether it's a mosque, whether it's a temple, whether it's a pyramid, where there was intention, a group of people sending thoughts, prayers, and everything, sending this intention, are these structures being used to collect those intention and beaming it up to somewhere, beaming up to somewhere? And we talk about why are we looking down, and we should be when we are reaching for the gods, why are we looking down, and why are we looking up? Sometimes we look down, right? Is that this what he saw was these different structures are all beaming light towards a world tree, which is like from the Viking Yggdrasil kind of myth, right? And what is this reality? Who is controlling, or what is being fabricated to direct these energies, this intention, these thoughts, powering this thing, and to be able to enable people or whoever built these structures, right? They need to have knowledge to sustain themselves, and this goes back to, I don't know, the slave race idea or theory, and to keep these people happy. Maybe that's why there's this simulation that's happening. Could that be the case? Could that be the case? Yeah.
Wow.
And what are your thoughts?
Okay. I think we need to kind of like break this down for the listeners lah. So okay, let me just run through this. Okay. So simulation theory, which is what we're trying to imply now, is the idea that we let's see how to start. I was having a hard time trying to collect this. Okay, so it's the idea that what we call reality might actually be a rendered projection, like a digital construct governed by rules, rendering speeds, and input output data. So basically, think of it as we don't have super speed as human beings for a certain reason. We cannot fly for some reason. So those are the data lah. It to spell it out would be that simulation theory proposes that the universe operates more like a sophisticated computer program than a material construct. And some people, it's easy to perhaps think of it as, video games like GTA, Elden Ring, Minecraft. Environment is fully rendered at all times. It loads and things start to load as you progress in life, and the code itself is already written. So it's very close to like how Patsu kind of like already kind of pre-encoded your destiny
Okay.
and pre-encoded your stuff,
Well,
but it's only as you live through the cycles, right? Then they start to show up.
okay. Let me try to explain this in English.
Thank you.
So what we are saying is that since the creation of the universe, and again, think of universe either as a simulation or not yet, right? We're going to lead you down that line. So
Mm,
at the very dawn of time, there's our codes already in place,
okay.
like a typical game, Minecraft, GTA, Roblox. There is a finite structure. The codes are already there. But what you can do as players within the game is your own free will, but within a sandbox environment that God, the creator, has already put in place. But you feel as that main character, you have leveling up, you have your death, your challenges, but you feel that you are a real character in a real world, and you don't quite know what we are characters looking out at the great sky, but actually there is another world beyond this world. Like how we look at the characters in GTA and Minecraft, they think they are all it in Tristram, but we as players know, haha, we are the real gods here. I live in Tampines, so Tampines is my sandbox. So now the question is, how many layers of that sandbox do we have? And if
Yeah.
this theory is true, then means everything that we have experienced now in life is a simulation based on a set of rules.
Yeah, and I think it also explains quite a number of phenomena. Like for example, why is it that people tend to only believe in their own point of view? And when somebody tries to bring or push information that they have never seen before, it becomes very jarring to their own point of view.
I know,
Because
because that one is upbringing with the Gen Zs and the millennials. They cannot handle the truth.
or it could be that that information has not loaded for the person who has never experienced it before. So to me, I see it that like for example, okay, like for me, right? The reason why I'm into all of this, into the spiritualism part of this world, is because I have seen my first ghost before when I was very, very young. Right. So to me, because that piece of information loaded for me at such a young age, therefore I am more inclined to believe that the other side exists.
You've
Whereas,
seen the glitch and then you wondered why.
yes, correct, yeah, and then happens whether or not it's intentional, or whether or not it was by accident, we don't know. But too bad, I already saw it already. So it's like my father is your typical don't believe one. Even if he see one also, I don't think he will believe at this point, because old people stubborn, correct. So yeah, he cannot, like, to him, he cannot, like, it just doesn't compute as this is a supernatural phenomena. It's just something that just won't exist.
So he has not downloaded that patch yet, lah. So he cannot
Yeah.
access that site. I
Yes.
think that also
Yes.
makes sense
Correct.
because there were spiritual masters that I spoke to who was able to defy or to overcome certain reality boundaries. So if you use the idea of hacking and this is simulation, they kind of hack through either a gods through a patch or something. That's why the simulation doesn't want you to believe in the supernatural, because it's almost like there are sentient beings, hackers out there who come into this game to try to give you the cheat code to disrupt their world. And
Mm.
why do some people of the old manage to fly or to cross water or to go through rock walls? Apparently these masters have meditated to such a high degree that they have received information from the outside world telling them how to game this simulation. And some people even deliberately and willfully want to eject themselves from this simulation because they are done here. They see a different world. Then these people are all tuned in to the truth, which this is a simulated world. That's what they've been saying, lah. But maybe the terms used was different. They don't use the word simulation. This is pretty much a Western concept.
Yeah lah.
If we go into this philosophically speaking, right?
Mm.
There is this Plato's cave where a lot of people, how they see reality, they are being chained to the walls, they cannot turn their heads, and what they see is, there's a fire
Shadow.
behind
Yeah.
projecting people over a bridge playing into the walls, and that is their reality. And when one of these and their whole world, their whole concept, their whole ecosystem of their understanding is just based on the shadow figures dancing on the wall. But the day that one of these prisoners escapes, goes out, gets blinded by the light, sees the truth, and comes back and tries to convince one other prisoner about the world that's out there, nobody believes him.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
within
I
their
heard that
frame of
story.
understanding their mental construct.
Speaking of that, I have a short story to share with you that I've heard,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful. I hope I do it justice by remembering the details of the story because I only heard it twice. There are twins in the mother's womb, right? And twin A said to twin B, "I wonder if there's a world outside where we are." And the twin B says, "Nonsense. This is the world. We've been here for the last 9 months. What's outside? What are you talking about?" And twin A was like, just wondering if there's a world where we can walk, we can run, we can see the sky, we can eat food with our mouth. And twin B is like, "Are you nuts? All along we've been eating food from this tube from this tube. We don't need to eat with our mouth. What are you talking about? Running? We're just nicely comfortable here, floating around in this space. What do you think of a place that doesn't exist?" And then the person said, sometimes if you just keep your mind quiet, you can actually hear mother's voice. And he goes like, "Mother again, talking about this invisible mother." And he's like, if you believe in this mother so much and she can take care of us, why don't you go and see her? Why doesn't she exist? Why doesn't she appear in front of us? And twin A says, "Maybe she's out there somewhere." And twin B says, if there's outside world and it's true, why don't they ever go out there and then come back in here and tell us what it is out there?
Ooh, I love this story.
Right?
I love this story.
Wow.
So we are in
Nice.
the womb and we are asking the questions like, why aren't people coming back here? Or why can't we do? Because we are comfortable in that safe space. Yeah. So
Or maybe who knows? Maybe after death, we move on to the other zone.
right, like
We find ourselves in the womb again. Ding, ding,
uh,
Yeah lah,
ding.
walao, like,
respawn.
又来了. Oh, but that guy at least had got somebody to talk to. What about those who don't have a twin?
yeah lah. That's why. Can you imagine all the singles in the womb all that like wow, must be scary for them also. You ever heard not? Like I think YouTube has a lot of those videos of like this is a video of the sound that the baby hears when they are in the mother's womb. Correct, and it's supposed to be soothing to them.
Yes.
So when I try to play it, actually damn creepy, damn scary. Can you imagine? You're in the womb, you can't see anything, and then there's this sound that goes doo 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 doo, and it's very loud.
This is the only reality that the baby knows. But actually, this thing, right? It becomes shamanic drumming. It actually mimics the heartbeat of a person, and that's because you are feeling so safe. For 9th month, this is the exclusive sound that we've been hearing, and each time you hear it, you know that you are safe. Yeah, and that's the principle behind it. So interesting that. Sorry, small interjection. Then talking about this reality, everything. For fans of anime out there, I don't know whether you've heard of solo leveling. It talks about a person who is being there are portals where aliens and other things come in and people are given powers to defend Earth. But one of these persons, he got he how do you say made use of the glitch because the system was using him and he is using the system. And he is the only character who can continuously upgrade, whereas all the characters are set, whatever abilities, whatever skills, they are set for life, but he is the only character that continuously upgrade. And then I just find it very, very, very nice. So fans of anime, please check it out. It ties a little bit into this what we're talking about, simulation.
Okay, so now that we're on this, right?
Mm.
Do you think hauntings, glitches, and paranormal experiences are actually faults in the simulation or data echoes?
that's what you experienced when you were young, right? Just now you were
Oh,
talking, right, Mike?
cool. Yes, true. But it's very strange also because like to me, I felt like mine was a bit intentional eventually, but I didn't realize it was intentional until like only what when I'm around this age. That's why we're doing this. Like I think basically everyone who's drawn to Eugene's content, right, definitely has like some level of a supernatural experience, lah. At least I would say, okay, a majority. Maybe some are just interest, but even then, also, why is there interest in that? You know? Yeah.
I haven't heard your story, Mike. I don't know whether
Why
this is a
not?
good platform to
Oh,
tell your story.
oh,
Yeah.
oh! I submitted before, but I don't think it was ever told. So basically, it's like this. When I was young, I've always had this block nose issue. Even today, also, I think it's still there. I don't know why. And so because of that, I sometimes from the aircon room, I'll come out and sleep on the in the living room where there's no aircon. So this is one particular night, and it was a very strange night because of it was a very strange feeling. I can remember how it feels, but I cannot describe it. It's just a very weird feeling. It's like I don't know whether okay. It feels like I was partially out of body, but I was still within my body. So it could be like my physical body is here, but my spirit is like halfway, that kind of thing. So it was just that one time that it happened that way. And I felt that first before I saw the entity. And so after when the feeling came, I started to hear a sound in the back of my so basically the old the old HDB the at Marine Terrace, those who stay in Marine Terrace will know, is the elongated. It's elongated, and then so it's like the living room is here, and then the kitchen is behind, and then this part is the window. So, um, um, I look back into the window and I notice, right, the clothes pack, the circular one with the packs.
Mhm.
Yeah, that thing was spinning. It was spinning like it was spinning aggressively. Yeah, and but my windows were closed because at night my dad he's very security first one he will close all the windows one. And so I was like, why is the thing spinning? But my windows are closed. Then as I continue to look carefully, right, behind the window, that means I live on the second floor. Behind the window. So basically, if there is a human figure outside of the window, the fella is basically floating. So I saw this person, and he wasn't really standing outside the window. He was kind of like so this is the windowsill, right? His head was just here, like that.
Mhm.
And then his
Mhm.
hand was like this on the side. His hand was on the side of
Mm.
that.
Mm.
Yeah. And so I stood there and stared for a while. I was just staring. Then I look up. Then I stare. I was like, oh my goodness, okay. Wait, hold on. My dog eye, wait, hold on.
Oops. Do you know this story, Eugene?
He told me before, yeah.
Oh, I see.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that happened, right? And then I was only like what 9 years old. Then I just decided, okay, I'm gonna go back to sleep again. But so to confirm whether or not I was just dreaming or whether or not it was weird, right? Correct.
Mhm.
It was that so the time we had a helper. So
Mhm.
at the time my brother was already born already. So I would sleep with my brother. He was only like 1 years old, and then the helper, and then the helper, in the morning, she asked me, "Hey, what happened to you yesterday? Did you have a nightmare?" Then I say, "Why?" "Oh, because when I tried to wake you up, you suddenly just stood up and then start running around screaming, 'Don't catch me!'" Oh, so that means I must be in fear during that moment.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that
Mhm.
was the only confirmation that that happened. Whether or not it's a nightmare or whether it isn't, no. But I don't think it was because I remember she told me that she saw that I did go out and come back in. Yeah,
Mhm.
and apparently I
Mhm.
was actually it. I was actually out. Not just so that just now I described to you that the incident, right? It felt like
Mhm.
it was just 10-15 minutes, right? Apparently I was out there for about 2 hours. or more.
And
Yeah.
and Mike, when you say that this episode, this glitch incident was intentional, right? How is that?
It still stays with me until today. Like okay, so as life goes on, as I get older and older, right? Correct. I still see. Apparently, I still can see. Not all the time, which is good. Not always, But yeah, I think army also was another period where I really saw a lot. I don't know why, but in between that, I don't really see, or maybe I didn't realize. But that specific feeling that I felt, that is the one that I never got back after that. It is the one where I felt like as if my body and my spirit or soul was not together. It felt like it was like I don't know how do you experience it. It's like physical body, like spirit, and we were just like moving this way. Yeah, that is how I would describe it. Yeah, it was
And Mike,
very,
when you say that incident was intentional, you mean that you experienced that episode so that the powers of the be allowed you to experience the episode. That's why you're on this journey, on this path. Is that what you mean?
yes, yeah, because I until
I see.
today, like even if I try to push it away, right, it always comes back. It always comes back. It seems to always come back.
If
Yeah, that is
dream or night
that is.
have this effect, right?
Sorry.
If it's just a normal nightmare or dream, it shouldn't have this long protracted effect like last through
Right.
the past 3 decades.
I think like it shouldn't linger. I rather
Mm,
because okay. So like for example, even my army days when I see Hantu, right? Correct. To me, I say, okay, you know what? Okay. Then I just like it doesn't stay. It doesn't stick. This particular one stuck because it's that feeling that I still remember, but I cannot replicate it. It doesn't. It doesn't. I mean I'm okay that it's gone, but there's always a curiosity. Like, what was that? What did I what actually happened during that period in time? That that this like or rather, now that I'm older and I know what I know, what did I do correct that I was able to split myself into two? That would be the question, lah.
Okay, man, guys, we're gonna come back next episode with more of this simulated questions or questions about simulated world and make you question your own reality and your own consciousness and sanity. And I think this is going to be a deep rabbit hole that's going to last couple of episodes. So hang on with us for this ride. We try to make it as seamless as possible for you to enter into this twilight zone with us. Until next week, this is Strange World with me, Eugene Tate, Dr. Yong, and Mary Mike. See you
Bye
next week.
bye.
What did you find?
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.